What's up, you? For today's video, with a Shellder evolution team, going back to Generation 1 today. So we're going to be using 2 Shelders and 2 Cloysters. So the abilities they have got are Shell Armor, Skill Link, and Overcoat. So Skill Link being a very, very good ability, allowing those multi-hit attacks to hit up to the maximum amount of time. So this video had a lot of battles in it, but it probably was a bit shorter because a lot of them were actually sweet movesets. So let's get into it. If you like Cloyster and Shellder, let me know. Is it anyone's favorite Pokemon of all time? I'd like to know if it is. What do you guys think of Shellder and Cloyster? All right, first battle here, random battle. This one is against Josh, and we have a Shellder lead. Now, this Shellder is my setup set for the rest of the Shellder and Cloysters. So we got a Snowscape set. So this has Snowscape, Icy Wind Spikes, and Toxic Spikes. Max health and max defense there with Overcoat. We've got a Glimmora lead, never seen one of them in my life, and it's going to fate me with Mortal Spin. So I need to swap in a Pokemon that can do something here. So with this team, I had a Cloyster, a physical Shell Smash Cloyster, and I also had a special Shell Smash Cloyster because this team really did need them because they had quite a lot of weaknesses and I only had 4 Pokemon. So we're going to be setting up the Shell Smash against the Glimmora here, and this is a King's Rock Cloyster. So I've got King's Rock as the item, Skill Link as the ability, Shell Smash, as you've seen, Icicle Sphere, Rock Blast, and Drill Run with a Terra Ground. So there was a lot of Miraidons and Pokemon, electric type Pokemon, especially Miraidon, that I came up against. So having a Terra Ground was very, very handy. So we're going to be taking out this Glimmora. Unfortunately, it is going to be putting Toxic Spikes onto the field. That there's not really much I can do about that. Also, little announcement here too. Tomorrow, I'm going to be streaming my first Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Nuzlocke for Gen 9, and I'm going to be doing it on the Switch too. So that'll be happening in the morning, or for my Australian morning. Currently it's nighttime here, but I'll be doing that one in the morning too. So that's going to be super fun, and I hope you can show up for that one. Lots of fun. All right, so our next Pokemon here, this is also a 4v4. They brought out Miraidon, so clearly a lot of the teams I versed, they'd insta-stealth rock first turn, or they'd insta-select all they'd have like electric, fighting, every single type that was good against my team that they pick. Even if they had 6 Pokemon, what they do is they wouldn't bring the ones that were weak to ice. They bring all the counters. So it's super funny. It's like, why don't you just bring your whole team? So we've got a Miraidon coming out here. Now, obviously, I'm well prepared for Miraidons because they're everywhere on the Pokeball. And we're going to go for a Drill Run, and that's going to be easy enough to take out the Miraidon. So that's excellent. This team's very good for that because even if I didn't have a Shell Smash up there, I can just go Terra Ground, get the Shell Smash up when they go for the predictable Electro Drift or Volt Switch, and then, go from there. So here comes King Toilet. Now, I was thinking about this, whether it's going to have Sucker Punch or not. And I thought, well, look, even if it does, I could still go for Drill Run. Cloyster has some pretty good base defense anyway. I wasn't running Wide Herb on this set like a typical one because I wanted to add a little bit of PIMPNITE special into it. But even with the Sucker Punch there, it just simply wasn't enough damage to take out Cloyster. So Drill Run is going to take out King Toilet, and that is 3 Pokemon down. So we're getting a Cloyster sweep at the moment. Last Pokemon is going to be, is that Thanos? Oh no, Thanatos. I thought it said Thanos. Well, I'm going to Thanos snap this team. We have got Icicle Sphere. I feel like that's going to be better, even if it has something, its bulky ability. That's going to be doing like tons of damage to it. The other Pokemon that they had on their team too, I don't think I would have had too many worries actually getting around, because a lot of the time someone having a Miraidon on their team would allow me just to get a free setup there when they thought they had an easy advantage. I'd just flip it on them, right? So there you go. We got a sweep in the very first battle. There's going to be a lot of sweeps in today's video. I'm just giving you guys the heads up here. There's not not too many things you can do outside of a Cloyster, especially when both the Shelders are more set up Pokemon and support. All right, let's get on to battle number 2 here. We've got 8 battles today. As I said, it is a little bit of a shorter video simply because the battles didn't last very long at all. So the first Pokemon's going to be Meowscarlet. I'm not sure of my opponent's name here. If someone wants to translate that, they can. That would be awesome. And we're going to be setting up the Snowscape. So Meowscarlet wasn't all that bad against my team at all. Even though it was a Grass-type Pokemon, it had Flower Trick and was, it was a very spammable move there that always crit. But my Shellder was very defensive too, which I was able to live a lot of those. So I went for Icy Wind just to get a bit of damage and drop the speed on Meowscarlet, and I thought that could be the best thing I could do, apart from setting up the Snow, right? My other Shellder though was even more of a tanky defensive set. So that is the end of the first Shellder. Now, I did do back in the, it would have been a long time ago. I believe I did a Skill Link ability team. It would have been such a long time ago, probably 6 to 8 years ago. I did this. I might have not been on that team. Maybe another team. I did like this Cloyster. It was like a cool trapping set. It was like Toxic, Clamp, and something else, but I couldn't recreate that on Scarlet and Violet because they didn't have the the same moves. So I just made 2 sweepers here, and I really did need it too with only 4 Pokemon. So this is my special Cloyster, and this is a PIMPNITE special, and it still works pretty well, especially with these the setup with Snow from the start with Shellder. So on this set we have got White Herb as the item, Overcoat as the ability. So I was immune to any of those powder moves, sandstorm damage, effect spore, things like that. And then I had Modest Nature, max special attack and max speed. And I had Terra Ground as well. It was important for me to have Terra Ground on this as well because just the abundance of Pokemon that had electric moves. So in comes Quackquavel. I know that a fighting type move is most definitely coming my way here, and if it gets a Moxie, it's going to be quite hard to get around. I know there's a chance, I was like, there's a small chance they might use a water type move, maybe for an Aqua Step, but I felt like I could still take that risk and go for that. With Blizzard, it wasn't very effective, and it was difficult when I ran out of Snow as well. When that Snow turn finished, I'd have to go for a Blizzard Raw with no Snow up, and that was shaky accuracy too. So I decided to go for that Terra Ground here on the Cloyster and Terra Blast with Shell Smash up there. I think I did a somersault or a barrel roll, and I got some great damage there. Here comes a predictable close combat, and I do live that thanks to the White Herb, right? So Quackquavel's going to have a defensive drop. It doesn't have anything like Aqua Jet, which is good. And now I can go for another somersault and take out Quackquavel there. So things are going pretty good so far. So now I've taken out 2 Pokemon. So now we're on even footings here with the amount of Pokemon we brought. Next Pokemon is going to be Charizard. So Charizard, really the only way to fake this is going to be Hydro Pump. There's a small chance Charizard could live a Blizzard, plus, the accuracy is a bit dodgy. So going for Hydro Pump right out of that Clam, and that is the end of Charizard. So half the team is down now to a special Cloyster. Only on PIMPNITE Shadow. Also, I am playing on the Switch too as well, so you should be able to notice the higher frame rate and everything like that. Looks a lot better. So we've got Duraludon coming in here. I've got Terra Blast, but does it have, what ability does it have is the question. So going for that Terra Blast on the Duraludon, and I dropped it in one shot. So excellent. That's 4 Pokemon down now. This is going very, very well. Things are going swimmingly. Next Pokemon is going to be Shellder. It's like, oh, this is a tough decision. So I thought about this for quite a while. I was like, you know what? I'm still going to go for Hydro Pump here. It is a bit of a risk, so I decided to go for it, and I took it out, which is excellent. So that is 5 Pokemon down. Can we get the special Cloyster sweep here with the Shell Smash special Cloyster? Last Pokemon is going to be Ogerpon Half Flame. So I thought, ooh, you haven't Terra'd yet. So I was like, I bet you they're gonna Terra here. And what I'll do is I'll go for that, I'll go for the Hydro Pump, right? So that should do some, really good damage, if it lands, of course. So they went for that little Terra to get that attack boost there, and they hadn't Terra'd up to that moment at all. So I went for the Hydro Pump, and right in the Ogre Ponds, and that is the end of the last Pokemon, and that is a special Cloyster sweep there, which is absolutely awesome. Now we have a dog barking next door as well, which is super, super loud. So I'm sorry about that. Okay, so that's our first one. Let's get a like on the video for that special Cloyster sweep. Let's get on to the next battle here. Another random battle. We have got a Meow Scarlet. Very, very, such a rare Pokemon to see in these videos, right? So I've got Snowscape and Icy Wind options here. Either one of them I know I can go for because I do have a sash on this set too. My other Shellder I haven't actually got to show off yet. That one had shell armor, so I could get around some of those, those critting moves there. So that was a powerful Meow Scarlet. That put me all the way down to my sash and Life Orb and Life Orb Protein and Flower Trick all at the same time there. So it's starting to snow, which is good. I can try and set up my Cloyster. Pretty much what I tried to do in these battles. I tried to set up one of the Cloysters, whether it be the special set or the physical set. Now, the physical set is very good, right? But it wasn't always appropriate for a lot of the battles. Sometimes I actually was better to go with the special set because of the moves that I had and if it was snowing and that sort of thing. And if there was any real bulky defensive walls. So with the snow up there, Cloyster is actually able to live that attack, which is really good, just due to its natural bulk and the buff there from being an ice type Pokemon to the defense. So now I can go for a Shell Smash here and get that up. This is the special Cloyster again, and with that I can go for a Blizzard too. Now, with say something like a Sucker Punch, I might be able to still live that. There's a good chance I can live that after a White Herb as well, especially because it won't be super effective. But that didn't happen, and Meow Scarlet is gone. So that is a very good start to the battle there. So now I'm sort of set up here and ready to go. Our next Pokemon is going to be Garganacl. Now, this is good if I land Hydro Pump, and I did. I was like, yes, this will do really good damage, and I dropped it in one shot. So that is that would have been a big counter for my physical Skill Link set, which is, a really good competitive set compared to this one, which is more of a joke set. But in that case, it worked out really, really well. So we got another Meow Scarlet. I went for a Blizzard Roar with no snow, and that is the end of the second one. It's like, oh, here we go. We're going to get this again. We're going to get the special sweep here. Next Pokemon we got is going to be Flutterlane, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I can get this because it's got a fat special defensive stat. It really, really does. This is at a speed rise as well, so I was like, ooh, I don't know. Am I going to outspeed this? So I was thinking about this. I'm like, well, I've got Hydro Pump. Let's go for that. And Hydro Pump misses. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't think I would have fainted it. I think it would have been very close, but I don't think I would have fainted it. Anyway, that is the end of the Cloyster, but a quality performance there on the Flutter main. Now, would you like me to put up a separate video for a Cloyster sweep? What I'll do is I'll think I'll do a physical and a special one in the same video, because obviously the physical one is a lot easier to get than the special one, right? So I can definitely do that if you are interested. I know I've got a couple of sweeps that I have to put up still. I've been keeping a little note of which ones, but if you'd like to see that, let me know. I'll do a physical and a special in one video. All right, so this is my bulky Shellder. I haven't got to show this yet. Unfortunately, it's probably not the right conditions for it to be really good because it's versing a special Pokemon. It's a real defensively bulky one. So it's max health, max defense, bold nature, whirlpool, chilling water, sleep talk and rest, shell armor, and everlight. Terra water as well. I didn't think there was much point in changing that. Last Pokemon is Cloyster. I lived that Shadow Ball by the skin of my teeth there, and I managed to get off a Shell Smash. I was like, yes. So I know that the other Cloyster outsped this Flutter main, so this means I can outspeed it as well, because this one was Adamant, and the other one was Modest, right? But still, that's going to be enough to outspeed it. So I went for the Icicle Sphere. That would normally take Fluttermane out in one shot there. So that is down, which is absolutely awesome. The next Pokemon we got here is going to be Cerulege. Like, oh, do you have Shadow Sneak? Or do you not? It depends here. Like, it might have it, it might not. It's like, well, I've got Rock Blast. If you've got a Focus Sash or something like that, Drill Run is an attractive option to go for, but I was like, I'm going to go for Rock Blast here because in case it's got a Sash, right? So go for that Rock Blast. It doesn't miss, which is good. And that is going to be enough to take out the Cerulege. That's 5 Pokemon down here. We're getting a double sweep here with You might as well say this was a Cloyster sweep, you know? Last Pokemon is going to be Miraidon. We know what they're going to do. They're going to press the A button on Electro Drift. But I'm all ready to go here with the Terra Ground and Drill Run. I actually thought about... I'll be honest here. I wanted to win the battle, but I did actually think about it for a while. Should I go for Shell Smash here just to flex the ground type and then attack them afterwards? I was like, what if they do something like Dragon Pulse and like, you know, because it's not like I'm not going to die to a Dragon move at this amount of health anyway. So I thought about this for quite a while. I was like, I kind of don't want to give them the satisfaction that they won, though. You know, I want to just show them I've got ground. So I was like, I'm going to scrap that idea because every time I do that, they'll go for something else, right? So we're going to go for that Terra Ground on the Cloyster. And obviously, you know, even if Miraidon was miraculously able to outspeed, you know, no electric moves would affect me there. So we're going to go for the Drill Run there. I'm assuming they went for electric. Let's be real. They went for electric move. And that took it out easy peasy. So bye-bye Miraidon and hello W. So that's another victory. So that was actually a sweep from the special one swept the first half of the team. And then the physical one swept the other half. That was awesome. All right, let's get on to the next battle here. This is another random battle. This one's against Ewen, or I don't know, Ian or Ewen. I don't know how to say that. And we've got a Salamence lead. So this Salamence is going to be using Fly. It's also got Intimidate too. So Fly's not going to be doing very much at all against this Shellder. Now, in this battle too, I actually swapped up Shellder's item too, because I played around with running them both as Everlight, and then, you know, some battles I'd have it as Sash, but others I run with Everlight. So I did run this one with Everlight too. So they were trying to get some damage on me, but they couldn't get much, right? Fly and Zen Headbutt. Even a Zen Headbutt crit wasn't enough there. I got like a mega crit on Icy Wind there on the Salamence, and they're going to finish me off with the Zen Headbutt. So I thought this isn't a bad time to bring in Cloyster and just finish it off with like an Icicle Sphere. I thought about going for Shell Smash here. I thought that wouldn't be a bad idea, but I just wanted to play things safe for now because I had a Miraidon on their team. I believe at this point it's like, let's maybe do it on the Miraidon. So in comes Gengar. Gengar's going to get hit by the spikes there, and I get Curse Bodied on Rock Blast. See, I thought that might happen, and I thought I'll do it if I go for an attacking move, right? I'll do it on Rock Blast because that one's probably the least, you know, most viable move there. I don't need to use that move very often, so I got Curse Bodied on that. Next Pokemon is going to be Boagia. I don't know how to say that. Is this some sort of theme team or different names? I have no idea. If anyone can guess that or knows that, let me know. Now, I smelled a rat here. I was like, you're going to go for Sacred Sword, but I swapped in my bulky Shellder and it did no damage at all. Look how well it tanked it. Then they did a swap too into Garchomp, and I was like, I'm going to go for my my trapping set here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to trap the Garchomp in, and I'm going to go for Chilling Water. And it's really going to, it's going to do a good job here shutting it down. Then the Garchomp goes for a dig out of nowhere. I was like, okay, I mean, it's still going to hit pretty hard, you know, Dig has a decent base power, but it's just not doing much damage at all there. And since I've got Chilling Water up as well, doing some damage and dropping the attack, this Garchomp is pretty much walled here. It can't do anything at all. And then they Salty Rage Quitted on a Shellder. Only on PIMPNITE channel will Chien-Pao swap and a Garchomp, Rage Quit on a Shellder. There we go, people. Let's get a like on the video and let's get on to the next battle. All right, another random battle here. First Pokemon we have here is the rare shiny Charizard, and it's called Char-Char. So I'm going to go for a Shell Smash against Char-Char because I think this is a pretty good matchup here. Now, I was a little bit worried that Charizard could have a Power Herb too on that Solar Beam, and I would have been cooked there, but they didn't have one, luckily, and there wasn't any Sun Up either. So I've got Rock Blast, which is going to be good for Charizard, and Charizard, well, it's going to take incredible damage to that, being 4 times weak to Rock. So bye-bye Charizard. There wasn't much of a threat. Unless it had Power Herb, that would have been a good threat. Now, the next Pokemon to come here is going to be Rai, or Ray or Rai. I think it's Rai. And this is a Alolan Raichu. So I'm going to go for the Icicle Sphere here. That's easily going to be enough to take it out there. Maybe a Choice Scarf set might have taken me out, or for that Electric Surge or Surge Surfer, that was about it. Then comes the Blastoise. You watch this, you wouldn't read about it. So in comes Blastoise. I truly didn't have a lot to hit this with, and I knew that it would live a Rock Blast too, because it's got some nice, base bulk about it, and I almost took it out. I was very, very close. So I got 5 hits there, obviously. Then it's going to use Aura Sphere, and that's going to drop me in one shot. So it's like, damn, that sucks. So that's the end of Cloyster there. But I've still got some other Pokemon. So I thought what we'll do here is we'll go into Shellder, Shellder is going to be decent here. Now, there might be a little bit of flickering in this video. That's just my old PC. It's not like the new games or anything. Like, my PC is hanging on for dear life support and stuff. But I have got the means of getting a new one very, very soon. So we've got that Toxic Spikes. We're going to put that in the field. For some reason, Blastoise goes for a Dig. I have no idea why they didn't go for Aura Sphere. I mean, I can understand not going for a water move, or heck, even an ice move, but they didn't go for Aura Sphere, which is interesting. I guess they thought, well, Shelder's not weak to that. It's not an ice type, it's just water. I'll keep going for Dig. But, they kept going for Dig here, and I was like, well, if they're going to keep going for that, I'm just going to set up every single entry hazard that, ever existed in Pokemon, right? So we're going to go for Toxic Spikes and Spikes at the same time. Now, I got a question for y'all. If there was another form of Cloyster, what would you have it as? Would you have a different typing or an ability? Or if it got a Mega Cloyster, what would you do to that for an design? I would like to hear what your design would be, or your ideas. Could you turn it maybe into a ground type? Because I guess it's a clam, and clams could attach themselves to rocks or the earth. So I don't know. Maybe rockin' water could be interesting too. Kind of like Barbarical, I guess. That sort of timing. I don't know. Just something to think about. Anyway, so it came down to Shellder actually taking out Blastoise with Icy Wind. I didn't expect to take the Blastoise out at all, and I eventually outsped it due to all the Icy Winds I actually used on it too, which is pretty funny. So another Dig. To this, I don't know why they didn't do Aura Sphere. I've got no idea at all. Absolutely no idea. They were just dead set on using Dig against that. Against that Pokemon. Then they're going to bring in a Dragonite and go for an Earthquake, and that is going to be the end of the Shellder. So I was like, all right, fair enough. I didn't expect that to do much anyway. So I brought in my defensive Shellder, really bulky, and I thought maybe I can go Whirlpool this and Chilling Water and, make it do nothing. But then they went for a Terra Dragonite. I was like, oh, okay. Are you going to go for Outrage or Terra Blast or something? But it went for Dragon Rush. I was like, oh. That actually did a lot of damage. This is a super, super defensive Shellder. Really, really bulky. So that had to be Adam and Nature or something like that. It had to be. So here comes another Dragon Rush here on the Shellder. That is a clean 3-hit KO, and I'm able to get one Chilling Water off. I felt like it'd be better to get one of those off, because I need to set up my last Cloyster. I was like, gee, I don't know if I want to set that up against Dragonite. They say if I go for, Shell Smash, that would be bad going for that afterwards. So Shellder is down. All I've got left is Cloyster. I'm like, what is going on in this battle? And I've still got 2 more after Dragonite. So I'm like, all right, I know that I can take it out with Blizzard, but I need Shell Smash up for some base power, because the last 2 Pokemon, I won't be able to take them out, right? They've got good base special defense there. And they're going to outspeed me anyway. So I've got that Blizzard up. And I've got that Shell Smash combination here going. I can go for Blizzard, but it is risky. But I have to go for it. I've got no choice here. So Dragonite's going to go for its Dragon Rush here. That didn't do too much at all. Thanks to the White Herb. Otherwise, that would have done tons and tons of damage here. So Blizzard's going to be my go-to move. Thankfully, it doesn't miss, and that is going to be the end of the Dragonite there, which is very, very good. So there's 2 more Pokemon left, and funnily enough, both of these Pokemon were the same. So we have got a Ninetales Alola here. So we are going to get a bit of damage there from the spikes and the toxic spikes here. Also, another thing too, I've noticed when you battle people in, like, when you're using a Switch 2 versus a Switch 1, you have to wait a lot of time for the other Switch 1 to actually load into the battle. So the communicating error, thing will be on there for a long time, interesting fact. But the game is running like so much faster. All right, we got another Alola Ninetales here. They're going to meet the same fate with the spikes and everything like that. I went for Hydro Pump, no misses at all, and I took them both out. That could have been very nasty if I got hit by a Moonblast. But there we go. We cleaned up at the end there. I don't even know what that battle was, but Jacob, whoever you are, thank you for the battle. But that Blastoise for Dig, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. All right, let's get on to another random battle here. I have no idea what the opponent's name is, but they've got a ginormous thumping Regigigas lead here. So I've got Shellder, so I was like, you're going to try and set up on me, as in set your substitute up or protect or something like that to get slow start. And then once slow start's gone, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble, right? So I thought I've got to do a swap here, or I've got to get some damage off here, or I get Snowscape up and then go for a Shell Smash. So I decided to go for the Snowscape. Regigigas is going to go for that Payback. Payback's going to do nothing with this bulky set. This was an Everlight set too, plus it also had slow start going, so it was going to do nothing else. So I decided here, I've got to get rid of Regigigas before it gets up its, before it gets its act together, right? Because that'll be scary. It'll be faster. It'll be hitting a lot harder. So Regigigas seems to really only have Payback, I guess. It's not really doing much here. So I see this as free real estate to set up. Now, I was a little bit worried about Thunderwave. I almost actually Terra Grounded there, but I thought, I'm not going to preemptively do that. I want to see if they do it. If they do, they do. I'll try and go for my special one. So I got that Shell Smash up. I really needed a multi-hitting move here, so that's why I went into my physical one. You wouldn't want to be trying to use Blizzard and Hydro Pump against a sub, right? So I've got Icicles here. I thought, well, that's good. That'll definitely break the sub. Whether or not it'll faint it on this turn is another thing, but it should do a lot of damage. So I'm going for that Icicle Sphere. The first one hits there, and it fades a sub. I'm like, oh, that's really good. Now I get 4 quality hits there on Regigigas. So there's the third hit, and it's going to be enough to take it out, which is really, really good. So that's the end of Regigigas, because that was getting close to having its slow start gone. That would have been hell bad. All right, the next Pokemon here is going to be Mew. Now, Mew can be pretty bulky. This is a very, very competitive team here, by the way, outside of Regigigas. They had some pretty competitive-looking Pokemon in the back there, so that's why I felt this was a good time to get the boost up there. So Mew is going to get dropped, so Regigigas and Mew are now gone. And funny enough here, this is interesting, out comes the Regirock. I was like, oh... yeah, even with all my boosts up, there's no way I'm going to be able to take this out. So I thought, if I go Terra Ground here and then go for Drill Run, that's going to be my hardest hitting attack. And I might get a crit too, but I think I better do that in case it is one of those, those body press sets. But I was like, usually they are, or I might go for Stone Edge too. That was another option that was going through my head there. They also had Calyrex, Shadow Rider, and a couple other ones waiting in the back too. So I thought I better do some good damage to this. So I got Drill Run damage, incredible damage there, almost taking it out. Regirock's going to go for that Iron Defense, but that's not going to mean anything. After they seen the damage there, they salty cancelled, and that is the end of the battle there. They obviously didn't want to, little homie looked at the door and ran to it. Let's get on to the 7th battle here. This one is against Giovanni, and we got a Tinkaton lead here. So Tinkaton... it's not that much of a threat, really, to my Shellder, and it's going to go for play rough there. I was like, well, what are you going to do? Gigaton Hammer? It's not going to do much. So I decided to set up this Snow here, and I thought this would be good. I thought I might even try and set up Stealth Rocks, but it went for Skitter Smack instead. So I was like, it was funny seeing Tinkaton just slowly going along there with its hammer. Looked really funny. So I thought, well, if they've got such a, you know, a weak sort of Pokemon, it's not a weak Pokemon, but they're not doing a lot of damage to me. I might as well just set up all these entry hazards because I might actually need them, you know, especially if my physical one goes down and then I'm stuck with my special one. It could be nasty, right? So they're going to go for a Gigaton Hammer that time. It did a good amount of damage there, but you know, I'm able to tank that very nicely. See the difference between the Sash when I had Sash on it and then this one had Everlight? There was a mega difference, right? So they finally were able to take out my Shellder there. And now I've got, I mean, Tigaton really doesn't have a great attack stat anyway. It's kind of trash without a Sword Dance up, and it, you know, even then. So we're going to bring in the special set. I thought, all right, this is pretty good. If I go Shell Smash here and then go for Hydro Pump, it should get pretty close to taking it out. Or I could just go for Terra Ground and take out the Tingaton too. Tingaton actually has a good special defensive stat, so I was a little bit concerned that it might actually live here. So getting the Shell Smash up, I've got the White Herb, so I can pretty much live any attack. If it does have, you know, if it had Play Rough or something like that, I knew that I wouldn't be worried about like an attack drop or anything like that. So Rock Slide does nothing. Hydro Pump, see, doesn't take it out. That was a modest-natured Cloyster with Hydro Pump as well after a Shell Smash. Very impressive. The Tinkaton had a Quick Claw. I was like, oh no. And then he used Skitter Smack, but Skitter Smack missed. I was like, bro. So I went for a Disrespect Terra Blast there, and I took out the Tinkaton. It's funny they never got a Quick Claw you know, right into that moment. All right, the next Pokemon we got here is going to be Toxtricity. So normally this would be a pretty scary Pokemon for Cloyster to come up against. But since I had Terra Ground, I was confident I could take it out here. But I was like, I don't want to waste it. Let's just go for Hydro Pump. But unfortunately, it missed. So that really sucks. And Overdrive, you know, is going to take out Cloyster's entire family tree. So I've only got one option here. I've got to use the physical one. In hindsight, I probably could have gone for Terra Ground there, but I wasn't 100% sure on that. So I thought, what if it has like an item, you know, another Quick Claw or something like that? So I don't like the Terra unless I'm 100% sure, because once you've used it, you cook then, right? So we're going to go for a Terra Ground Cloyster, and we're going to get Shell Smash up. This will allow us to live this move, you know, Overdrive. The only thing I was worried about is maybe they'd predict that and go for Boom Burst, but I was like, I'm pretty confident they're just going to press A and go for Overdrive, right? Because they got a big advantage there. So I got the Shell Smash up. They with the Thunder Wave. So I was like, okay. So Thunder Wave. That would have been bad, right? So Thunder Wave is not going to affect me. I've got Drill Run now. And they swapped. I was like, oh, okay. So, I mean, that makes sense. They can't do much damage there. Now, they actually ended up swapping in Quackquavel, which was a good thing because Quackquavel got hurt by the spikes, and it actually swapped into a Drill Run here. So it's like, that's going to do some good damage, and it took it out. So that was excellent, right? That could have been a problem if they had maybe Aqua Jet or something like that. The next Pokemon's going to be Palossand. Good to see Palossand being used. I really like Palossand. It's a cool Pokemon. Now, I had to go for Icicle Sphere. Oh, it's going right in Palossand's mouth. Oh, did I tell you guys the sandcastle incident, the story? Like when I made that Palossand sandcastle, and this little kid, like just out of nowhere, just raced across here and stamped on it. And then afterwards, like right afterwards, almost the same time, a wave hit it. I was so pissed. Like I worked on that for hours. You know, it happens, right? So we got a Honchkrow coming in here. And it's going to be Terra Flying, which is interesting. I thought it might be like, I don't know, Terra Dark or Sucker Punch or something like that. Then it goes for Protect. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess they're seeing what move I'm going to use here. Maybe it does have Sucker Punch. They're just seeing, right, if I predict that and then go for a Shell Smash or something like that. So I thought, I'm going to go for Icicle Sphere here, and Icicle Sphere is going to take them out. I might have been in a bit, actually, I would have been in a bit of trouble there if they went for a Terra Dark Sucker Punch. I say that would have been a bit hairy, scary there. Anyway, Honchkrow is down. Armorogue is the second last Pokemon. Now, that's going to get hit by the spikes. I can just go for Rock Blast here and take it out. So the last Pokemon left is going to be the Toxtricity. And that's also going to take damage. I think that took double. Did that take double damage? I believe that took double damage from the spike. Yeah, it did. It's going to take more damage from the spikes. They're going to absorb... Oh, they absorb the toxic spikes as well, but they still took damage to the spikes. I just went for Icicle Sphere here, and that's easily going to take it out. So that is the end of Toxtricity. I think that's another... Is that another Cloyster sweep? I'm losing track now. There's been so many Cloyster sweeps today. You know, thank you, Giovanni, for the battle. You are my favorite Team Rocket. Well, my favorite villain out of all of them would be Team Rocket, Giovanni. Who's your favorite villain in the Pokemon series? All right, last battle here. We got another random battle, and we've got an Electrode lead. So clearly they seen my team. They were all weak to electric, so they led with that. Now, Electrode's going to go for Electro Ball. That's a nasty, nasty move. That will easily take out my entire team to a huge threatening Pokemon now. So I thought, might be a good idea here to go for Icy Wind instead of Snowscape. Why? Because Electrode might have a Sash, but then I see it had a red card. So it's like, all right, well, you know, that answers my question. But I had to do that in case it had a Sash, you know. So I'm going to be forcibly swapped here into my physical Cloyster. So I thought about this for a sec. You're going to go for Electro Ball again, or you're going to go for Thunderbolt. One of those moves here. You might have Taunt, but I'm going to have to go for Terra Ground here on either one of my Cloysters. Otherwise, I'm just going to straight lose. Like, they're going to press Electro Ball 4 times and I've lost, right? So something has to happen here. We got to try and produce a W. So we're going to go for that Terra Ground on... So, you know, Electrode's supposed Electro Ball, and I actually outsped it there due to the Icy Wind. But I still needed to live this turn from the electric move, right? So I got that stat boost there, which is going to be kind of nice there. And Electrode is going to be going for a Electro Ball again, so that's good. Had to use some sort of electric move of some description. I think they were running Modest Nature on it too. So I've got lots of things to take this out. I've got Icicle Sphere. So we're going to go for that. And that's going to be 2 hits to take out the Electrode. So that's good. That was definitely a big threat there. I mean, it wasn't a threat like Miraidon, but it was still bad. So in comes Morsold here. Now, I could go for Icicle Sphere and take that out. It's going to be a Population Bomb set, obviously. I'm going to be able to outspeed that and easily take that out. So that was not a problem. It would have been a problem if they were able to get a tidy up before or I wasn't set up with Shell Smash. Next Pokemon's going to be Porygon Z. Porygon Z has got some reasonable bolt to it, but you know, after a Shell Smash, there's just no way that it's going to be able to live that unless it's some sort of... It had to be like max health or something like that. So that's going to be the end of the Porygon Z. We got 3 more Pokemon left. We're trying to go for that Cloyster sweep. Next Pokemon's Talonflame. So like, does this have Gale Wings or does it have Flame Body? And I thought, well, look, even it's got one or the other, I reckon I can live one attacking move. So it seemed to have Flame Body there, and Flame Body didn't activate, which is good, and that's the end of the Talonflame there. So we got 2 more Pokemon left. Can we get the sweep? Next Pokemon's Cacturne. Really cool to see Cacturne being used. Now, Cacturne can have Sucker Punch. It might have a Sash as well, but I've got Icicle Sphere, so I'd say they would have probably gone for a Seed Bomb or something like that. Cacturne is going to get completely decimated in 1 hit there by a crit. Last Pokemon on the team is going to be Gengar. Gengar is going to die to any move here, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to go for the Drill Run here just to show them I've got Drill Run on this set. And, you know, pretty much any move can take the Gengar out at this point. I thought they may try a Terra here, but they didn't. And that is going to be the end of the battle, finishing on another Cloyster sweep. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, you liked all the sweeps, hit that like button, and I'll catch you tomorrow for some more vids. I've got some good theme teams coming up. Peace out, everyone.